In Russia, the movie begins with several inmates serving life sentences being brought to a prison, among them Sergei Kravinoff. After entering his cell, Sergei meets an imposing cellmate and casually mentions he'll only be around for 3 days. Outside, he's lifting weights when 2 fellow prisoners threaten him. Sergei knocks them out and is then taken to meet crime boss Semyon Chorney. He reveals himself as Kraven the Hunter, but Chorney insists that the Hunter is nothing more than a legend. Sergei grabs a tooth from a tiger skin rug, slashes Chorney's henchman, and then embeds the tooth in Chorney's neck. Making his getaway, Sergei scales the prison walls under gunfire, escapes into the storm, and reaches a waiting plane. Once on board, he removes a neck tattoo. Meanwhile, guards discover a dead inmate bearing the same tattoo, and fail to identify whoever killed Chorney. 16 years earlier, a flashback shows a young Sergei and his brother Dmitri at St. Michael's Academy in New York. Their father, the drug lord Nikolai Kravinoff, picks them up from school and reveals that their mother has died by suicide, something Sergei blames on Nikolai because they hadn't seen her in 2 years. Viewing her death as dishonorable, Nikolai decides she does not deserve a funeral, and instead brings the boys on a hunt for the legendary lion, Tsar, along with his crew. They are joined by Aleksei Sytsevich, who wants to join Nikolai's criminal operation, though Nikolai sees no value in him. Nearby, a teenage girl named Calypso Ezili reads tarot cards with her grandmother, who then gives her a voodoo elixir. She explains that this formula has been handed down through their family for generations and can heal anyone who drinks it. That night, Dmitri confides in Sergei that their father never respects him the way he respects Sergei. Meanwhile, as Nikolai talks to his men, it's revealed that Dmitri isn't actually Nikolai's son. They also discussed Tsar, the legendary lion rumored to have killed thousands of men. The next day, Sergei and Dmitri lag behind the hunting party and encounter Tsar. Sergei refuses to shoot the lion, which then attacks him and nearly mauls him to death. Nikolai arrives and fires at Tsar, but the lion still drags Sergei away before escaping. Calypso later finds Sergei and Tsar. The lion drops Sergei to the ground, and a drop of Tsar's blood lands on him. Once Tsar leaves, Calypso treats Sergei's wounds and has him drink her voodoo elixir. The mixture of the lion's blood and the elixir begins to alter Sergei's DNA. Before rushing him to the hospital, Calypso places a tarot card on him. Although doctors declare Sergei dead, he suddenly revives as his transformed DNA takes effect. Nikolai immediately brings Sergei home once he recovers. At his home outside London, Sergei reads a letter from his mother, vowing he will never become like his father. Later, Nikolai berates Sergei for refusing to shoot the lion, putting both Sergei and Dmitri in danger. Nikolai announces plans to send Dmitri back to New York, while expecting Sergei to stay and take over the family business. Nikolai shows off the lion's head trophy, telling Sergei he will never need to be afraid again. Determined not to follow his father's path, Sergei runs away, leaving Dmitri behind. He travels to far eastern Russia and finds himself in a field where a wildebeest herd storms past him. One of them patiently waits until Sergei moves so it can join the others. Later, Sergei stumbles upon the woods where he, Dmitri, and their mother once camped. There he starts noticing his newly heightened senses and a strong connection to animals. Eventually, Sergei discovers that many of the wildebeests have been slaughtered for their horns. When 2 hunters threaten him, Sergei picks up a knife and hurls it into the older hunter's head, then kills the younger hunter with his bare hands. In the present, Kraven receives a message from Dmitri, asking if he'll attend his birthday. Soon after, Kraven intercepts a convoy of mercenaries heading into a protected area to hunt. Undeterred by his warning, they continue forward, only for Kraven to sneak into their vehicles and slaughter them. The mercenary leader escapes, believing Kraven is finished, but finds him already seated in the boss's chair, the boss himself dead. Kraven fires a crossbow, impaling the leader before walking away. Meanwhile, Calypso has become a lawyer. She discovers that her friend and colleague was murdered by associates of Chorney. Kraven then approaches her, revealing he's the boy she once saved, and that he's the hunter who has been targeting powerful criminals like Chorney. Aleksei is engaged in mercenary work alongside his right-hand man, Bert. After learning of Kraven's attacks, Aleksei sees a chance to stake his claim on Nikolai's criminal operations. He and Bart confront some of Chorney's henchmen, demanding they join him. When they refuse, Aleksei reveals his mutation. His skin hardens into the form of the rhino, which he controls with a serum. Aleksei's men gun down all but 2 of the henchmen, prompting one to kill the other to prove his loyalty. Nikolai throws a birthday celebration for Dmitri at a nightclub, where Dmitri performs on the piano and sings. One of Aleksei's men, who previously switched sides, tries to assassinate Nikolai, but Nikolai uses him as a human shield. A shootout ensues, resulting in heavy losses on both sides. Nikolai then berates Dmitri for acting like a coward. Bert hands Aleksei a flash drive left at his door. The footage reveals Kraven escaping prison, revealing Sergei Kravinoff is the Hunter. Aleksei hires an assassin called the Foreigner, who can manipulate time, able to snatch a gun and turn it on his attacker in an instant. Kraven later appears unexpectedly at Dmitri's apartment, and they share a peaceful dinner before Nikolai arrives and disrupts it. That evening, after putting a tipsy Dmitri to bed, Kraven finds himself too restless to stay indoors and sleeps outside the apartment. By morning, Aleksei's goons have abducted Dmitri. Kraven sprints across the city, smashing through windows and climbing walls to catch them, but they escape. Nikolai receives Dmitri's severed finger and a 48-hour deadline to pay a $20 million ransom. Realizing his father won't comply, Kraven seeks Calypso's help. She learns from a contact that Dmitri is held in an old Turkish monastery, but it turns out to be a trap set by the Foreigner, who kills her contact. Later, in an old monastery in Turkey, Kraven quietly takes out the guards and corners their leader. Realizing it's a setup, they leap from the cliff, just as the other goons fire an RPG. Kraven survives the fall and kills the men who come to confirm his death. Meanwhile, as they await Kraven's arrival, Aleksei shows Dmitri his transformation and explains the physical pain he endures as the Rhino. He also mentions Dr. Miles Warren in New York, who helped him cope with his condition. Aleksei asks Dmitri to join him and take over his father's operations, but Dmitri refuses, stating he will never betray his family. Kraven rescues Calypso from Aleksei's henchmen at her law firm, and together they fly to the jungle where Dmitri is held. They encounter a wildcat Kraven once knew as a cub. After a brief tussle, Kraven and Calypso continue onward. The Foreigner arrives on the scene, and Aleksei's men soon learn that Kraven is nearby. Meeting Kraven in the forest, the Foreigner shoots him with a toxin-laced dart that makes Kraven hallucinate swarms of spiders. After 2 more darts, the Foreigner is about to kill him when Calypso fires an arrow into the Foreigner's eye. She then uses a second voodoo elixir to heal Kraven, restoring his strength. Aleksei transports Dmitri with a convoy, aiming to collect the $20 million ransom. Kraven sends a stampede of wildebeests at them, causing Bert to be thrown from the van and impaled on their horns. Aleksei fully embraces his rhino form, leading to a brawl with Kraven amid the rampaging animals. Kraven's knives can't pierce Aleksei's thick hide, and Rhino seizes him by the neck. Spotting the injection wound where Aleksei administers his serum, Kraven impales it, weakening Aleksei. He then uses a wire to hurl Rhino into the oncoming herd, leaving him trampled. Dmitri tries to finish Aleksei off, but Kraven convinces him to give up the gun, and Aleksei eventually succumbs to his wounds. Later, Kraven confronts Nikolai in the northern Russian wilderness. It turns out Nikolai sent footage of Kraven's prison break to Aleksei, revealing Kraven's identity, all to manipulate him into killing Aleksei. Nikolai exploited Dmitri as the easy target he knew Kraven would defend by any means. In revenge, Kraven quietly removes the bullets from Nikolai's rifles and departs as a bear arrives, leaving Nikolai defenseless to a fatal mauling. Later, Kraven meets Dmitri at the nightclub, and they clash over their life choices. Dmitri accuses Kraven of being no different from their father, just another hunter after a trophy, and admits he knows Kraven was involved in Nikolai's death. As Dmitri storms off, Kraven follows, only to watch Dmitri turn around and reveal his new ability to shapeshift using a special suit provided by Dr. Warren, making him the chameleon. The brothers then part ways again. Returning home, Kraven discovers a package and note from Nikolai, who reasserts that Kraven is a hunter just like him. Inside the package is a vest made from the lion pelt. Kraven puts it on and stands before the mirror, looking at himself. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.